Hi Libra. This is your Scorpio season reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended version of this reading. That's a subscription on Patreon, which is every month, so you'll get this first. I don't always put out the extended to the public, but I do believe that they are very in-depth. There's just something that happens, like there's something great here, always developing. There's something that happens when we look at the cards, and I think it's really beautiful. And I'm doing a sale for the new moon. That new moon intuitive pull, one card for our few cards, one card mostly came out for each sign this month. That is also up already. I'm doing a sale from the 1st to the 3rd on all my services. That is on my website. I will post that in the community, and also you can check it out on IG. It's 20% off, 25% off all the services if you book within those days. But it could be for the future, it could be a present, a gift. Email me if you need to. I am here for you. And this month, the cardinal signs, we're talking about timelines, especially emotional timelines, how they're linked to your mentality. We're getting to the heart of the matter in something, Libra, and I'm happy and I smile because I'm wearing this today, and I was wearing it for the new moon reading, but I was like, you know what, we're getting to the heart of the matter with Libras. Let's talk about it with you. And the first two cards out are exactly that. Getting to the heart of things, getting to the root, getting to the emotional root, but also allowing it to expand your mind, open your mind. Use the sword. The sword also has a crown on it. We're going to talk about power dynamics too. This is it. It's this emotional acceptance and using the boundary without any of, not that you always have feelings attached to it, but it's also not about not being so cold either, where you feel empowered to embrace the sword, because that is where you draw the line. Now, the more that you realize that, the more empowered you become, the more power that you feel, and the more that you realize that that's been, when you don't acknowledge certain things, it has power over you. And sometimes I think we forget that you were such great mirrors for other people. So if you've had time to yourself, if you have given yourself enough time to digest some of the decisions that you've made, you come to realize that you're now creating a type of boundary, a type of space, safer space for yourself. Because as we know, Libras especially, it's all about divine timing, always. It's not that you're waiting. It's not that you're procrastinating. It's not that you're prolonging. There are things that you may have missed, and there may have times where you have learned, and maybe you're still on that road, but the more that you embrace the divine timing and trusting your timing, where someone may think you're late, but really you showed up at the perfect time, where you didn't have to deal with X, Y, and Z, some traffic or some this or that. Not, the thing didn't start yet. You're fine. You're ready to go. Or you come in after, whatever it is. There's something about that time, and the more that you acknowledge that there's something synchronistic that happens in that moment, or something that you've needed to know, or something that you needed to hear, something working out for the best for you. And the more that you embrace who you are in that, and the more that you start to begin to see where in dynamics, especially, including the ones that have to do with engaging with your resources and your talents, you begin to see where it is in your life that you've been in a power dynamic through, like, the way that you've seen things and felt things emotionally and mentally. You may even notice how certain relationships reflect that same energy, that same space that you're in. And the more that you see and embrace your power, and you realize that as you reflect, you may have seen where you've given it away, and the more that you call it back to yourself, even just in this moment, because you can do that, because time is non-linear. You can do that and heal a lot by putting up one boundary. That could be one of them, just clearing space, making space for yourself, making space for your emotions, making space for you to feel this way, and see how things can shift in relationship now, where you feel empowered to say and speak about things head on. It may surprise some people, but you feel very secure, maybe even unattached in a way, where this was at the bottom. Where this makes you feel, exposed, but it's exposing the side of you that is light. There's a light side of you. There is It's about expressing yourself. This makes you feel safer to even express yourself, because what we can learn through this process of expression, here we are, of healing, of the subconscious, of this art, of this philosophy, what we begin to acknowledge is that a lot has been laid down for everyone. Rules, all this linear way of life. But the more that you feel safe within yourself to have these realizations, to go through these moments, the more that spirit, your soul, the way I see it is that your soul feels safe to be with you. So that's the safer that you feel to maybe express your soul in a way that you don't need to always be in the safest environments. When you become that environment, you become that for yourself. Yes, there are times where maybe it's not the right time, but that's also one of your powers that you can hone in on. You become more disciplined about the maturity of your risks. The maturity of owning that you may have a different plan than the one that was given to you. That you may not always agree with ways that other people exist or the way that they've done things, so you decide to do things differently, knowing, in full knowing, that that's what worked for them. It's also about being disciplined that you can plan, Libra. You can plan whatever you want to plan. But life is going to adjust itself for you to experience it through your purpose, through yourself. So you can plan, but planning every detail, maybe you've learned that's not your process. Maybe you've learned that the universe really, in a way, adjusts for you and for what you have yet to even imagine. So then when you show up, it's so much more. This is also about being disciplined too. If you're taking a risk, believe in it wholeheartedly. You know, it's like there's no half-assing. This is about true commitment. Scorpio season is about the commitment, and that is the emotion. We're going to talk about that. We talked about that a little bit. Is that there's a reason why we've been shown this in so many ways, shapes, or forms, especially if you consume like movies and media and whatnot, and then also just being in this realm and being here today. You know, we can talk about how, you know, the harnessing the emotion, and this is what Scorpio teaches us. This is the Mars part of Scorpio, not this is the opposite, the difference between the Scorpio and the Aries. Scorpios, their strategy is a long-term strategy. Their strategy requires emotional intelligence. If the Scorpio wants to evolve and is looking to evolve in a way that isn't bypassing things, right? So the stronger that you feel about something and the more that you put that feeling, and that's manifestation 101, right? However, you also know what comes up, and you have slayed so much. You've slayed so much, and now you're molding this part of your mind. And what I'm reminded of is that, I also have the heart on, is that you're getting to the heart of this matter of why it is that when you can get so ready and steady on something, and then you start to forget why you're doing something. So the energy shifts and maybe you become doubtful. And then it's almost like now at this point, you've gone through this so many times, judgment, the sun, exposure to, hey, you need to be more disciplined in your mind. Libra season was all about that. And now because you've created that space for yourself, in yourself, with yourself, and for yourself, your emotions then have the ability to run through you, not get stuck. I mean, this sounds so much like a robot, but also it's that dichotomy of that Libra, the scale, that's the both sides of the scale too, is you being able to see all sides of something You, of course, are thinking, well, what if something better comes along? But what's the things that have come back over in time to time? How can you put something together that has all the different facets that you are and what you are that comes together? The sun is also creation. You know, you're being called or like even demanded, or you're demanding creation from yourself and from this life. And this is a more dynamic and intimate view of your boundaries. And the more that you assert these, right, the more that you feel empowered, even if it doesn't necessarily change who you are, but it changes your state of being. It changes your energy. People don't even realize it. And all of a sudden you see where they feel disempowered and where that comes out from them. You may notice that in your relationships this month. You may notice that in friendships this month. You may notice the more that you harness and own what you're doing, the less you feel the need to be fearful. Like, you normalize the fear and you know that it's scary what you're doing, but you know that at the same time, especially if you're doing something on your own or you're taking a creative risk in some way, or you're changing the direction or the course of your life, especially if around when Pluto shifts by the end of the month, you start to see and you're being called and you see and feel the call into a more maybe artist or creative endeavor. And then all of a sudden, when you do commit, this is the thing about you guys, is when you do commit, right? The timeline adjusts and it may take a moment, and it's in the long run, we all know that it's really not that long, but in the short term, you have to learn to calm your mind. That's letting you let yourself feel. Don't stop it. Don't dam the well. Let the well flow. Whatever that feeling is, because guess what? You're worthy. You can own it. Like, owning it this month is the plan. Owning it is the plan. Libra rising, this is your 7th house. For you, if this is a relationship, you're becoming very aware that it's important that joy is very important in your relationships for Libra risings, that you are putting more energy. Maybe you're even talking about having children for some of you. But this is about being very disciplined, not to necessarily the goal, but to the road. That maybe something unplanned is happening, right? Some change, whether it's a kid or you discovering this new part about yourself, the shift that you want to make in your life, realizing that what skills you do want to acquire or that require you to build upon, to learn, to study, to act upon, that's bravery. This is very Aries strong too. So your mind feels very powerful at this time, and you're seeing that through even taking emotional risks with yourself, being mentally head on, feeling stronger, and it maybe has given you time, or you've been able to reflect and see things differently. You now see that in that where you've played into these dynamics, and now that you're no longer, because you have seen the patterns and you've seen where you've existed in those patterns, and what is the change, and then what's the constant too, right? And if what you're noticing is that you're triggering others, or your empowerment is changing your relationship with others, let them change. Let them change. Let yourself feel the empowerment, Libra, of what it's like to truly be in this independent and powerful phase, while you also know that the right people and the right connections will come along. If you have someone in your life, if you feel very clear about what you want, again, and this is about relationships or commitments, the courage, the bravery, being headstrong, and this is the time to be stubborn. Mars will move into Leo this month too, which may cause you to also fixate on something that if you can actually communicate how you feel before, it won't be such a harsh exposure. But if you don't, towards the end of the month, something will be exposed that you now need to be very sure, whether it's at work or in love or wherever your commitments are, you need to be sure of your direction. And certain decisions make you realize certain relationships, where you stand. You may end up being very direct with people too. You may need to be direct with people. You may have come to a realization that that's the only way people truly hear you. That you can't be passive and a roundabout with certain things. You have to be clear and concise communicator. And this is sharpening and harnessing this time for you to very much communicate to the people who need to hear. And you may want to reveal yourself or expose yourself in a more public way, so it may reach more people. If you're wanting that, regardless if you're wanting that, if you're putting stuff out there, you may start to reach people in a different way. This is creating a sense of trust within your dichotomies within yourself, because there's a part of you, there's different parts of all of us, right? And what is it that you're choosing to mold, right? This is about your freedom. This is about your mind. This is about knowing what to say. Communication. Communication in relationships, giving and receiving, love, emotions, how you show your care and vice versa. This is also about you being, perhaps because you've been so clear and so, it's almost like it's one of those moments where you feel like you only needed that, but you realize you've needed all of it to get to where you are now. And so much can really, that's the timeline thing, so much can shift so quickly if you're able to address some of the things that maybe you've been a little bit more passive about that now need your attention. Especially if it has something to do with your mind too, or your ego. This is an ego upgrade. This is something that you've needed. This is the timeline shit. The light of your dynamics are finally shifting, and they might all shift, and that might feel really weird and strange, like, oh my God, I can't believe I existed this way in all of these ways. But you realize, what we all can realize, is that if you are this in their life, they're probably this in someone else's life too. And that is where it's crazy. It's not just like generational healing, and I know this is a lot, but it makes me happy to see it. It's like people that you connect to maybe from your soul's journey, right? So they may not be your quote unquote blood family, but there's still something healing through that line when you're able to do that. And if it's not with that person, just in one-on-one relationships, I've come to believe, if it's not with that person, it will be with another person who are similar will show up. It just depends on if the egos can remain centered, communicate, a bit able to heal, right? Not see it as like a shot to anyone, but like, oh, I can acknowledge this. And that's a lot of cards. Sorry, Libra, we're not doing that right now. We're not doing it. They come out again, but I didn't even look at them. But now you realize how much more potent what you give is. Like, I, just from realizing what I've realized in the past week and writing so much more, and being so invested in this, but also invested in my joy, which is the sun and Libra sun. And like now the ring has like a whole nother glow to it right now. The magic is coming back around. There's something about this time where it's igniting the magic. It's whatever's being revealed to your heart. You now realize that it has had power over you, and now you have the chance to utilize this differently, which gives everything that you're giving and everything that you're receiving so much more, or so much less, if you get my drift. Your ability to transform, transcend, heal relationships through what it is that you're acknowledging and creating. Sorry about that. Tell me this isn't some transformational stuff. Shit. You not holding, now you realize maybe this has been like that final piece, that heart of the matter. And now my nose is all red, I'm sorry. Because you're giving back to all the parts of you that have unknowingly put up this protection, even though it hurts you more and hurt you more at times. But now, knowing what you know, it doesn't have that ability. We have to go through those moments, but now it doesn't have that ability. That by giving and having this resurgence of power, creative energy, inspiration, risk-taking, not going with the plan always, but being disciplined to the action, being disciplined to the creation, being disciplined to your ego, trusting yourself, revealing that what's changing is life-changing, life-altering. The timeline is shifting. Bottom. Collaborations ground you and create foundations. The people in your life and who you surround yourself give you the extra oomph to move forward, regardless if they stay or if they're just there for a reason like this. It's given you the confidence. 6 of Wands, the 6 of Pentacles, and we have the 6 of Cups over here. All we're missing is the 6 of Swords, which would make sense in this reading. However, we'll get into the next part. This is the confidence to understand that this is what heals this. How do you want to give? How have you been given to? And how being unattached to the person or the ego or the image or whatever that person can provide in your life, or whatever they can bring, or whatever potential, whatever it is that you think you're giving, you're not. This is going to make you face where it is that you've been receiving and giving charity, where you've been feeling less, where the 6 of Cups is transforming the 6 of Pentacles, where you need to give more. And then who you need to give more to, including yourself, who you need to give less to. Woohoo. And we have the blackout. Hey, got through the whole reading without it. So, are we at the right light? Yeah, we are. Sorry. Okay. So, all this to say, Libra, is that the connection to yourself that you're deepening at this time. The heart of the matter that you're getting to includes how you've been supportive and cared for yourself, how consistently doing that and showing up creates a whole wave of change. You know, it's like nobody wants a Libra to get their shit together, because then it doesn't matter whose life, doesn't matter if it's better for you, you're shifting, it'll shift someone else's life for better or worse. Not up to you how that ripple effect affects them. If you're doing better for yourself and it affects them in one way or another, if it's negative, well, it shows you some light. You get to see the revealance of your dynamics. And it's, I think, everything you've ever wanted, but it's almost like you've been unwilling to see it. Or you just need so much healing around it, and so much, like, less attachment, and just trust in the foundations that you've created, and trust that what you're meant to do, what you're meant to move forward with. It's not for the charity of others. It's for giving back to yourself, which does internally, like, that's what we're going to get to with Pluto and Aquarius. Like, yes, it's very community based, but it's also what you do for yourself and how that extends to other people, the decisions you make. If you're basing them off of trying to control a situation instead of what you truly desire, what you actually mean, the truth of right now. It doesn't have to be the truth of 10 days. It's just the truth of right now. And every day is trying to get you there, of course, in its own way. And it's very magical. But really, this is some profound change that is happening and changing the course of your direction and healing different dynamics that you've been in, which is helping heal your soul, if you believe, or if you trust. This is helping heal and deeply heal timelines that you're on, the change of pace. If you've been going at a certain pace, you'll see a change in pace in that, but we'll get more and in depth into it. We'll talk about the head, like your eyes are shifting. You may even breathe differently. There's an alignment going on here to this physical life that you're in. And I have the confidence in you. And I know you do too, and the strength. You have built the strength, and it's about accepting it, because anywhere you're iffy about, or you've let go of a boundary, you're just murking the waters. It's okay to be very direct about some things, and to have some clarity in your life, and it's okay to be the clarity. You gaining clarity, don't be afraid to ruffle some feathers or cause some friction. That's not up to you. It's not up to you to keep the peace always. Sometimes the disruption of silence actually brings peace, because they're not the same thing. Peace is its own energy. You can't be your peace can't be disrupted unless there's some healing to do. Okay, I could talk to you forever, as you know, but we'll get into the second part in depth. We'll talk more and find out more about, also for Libra risings, your 7th house is very present, Aries house. You may need to put some boundaries up with a partner, make some things clear, because there's been some back and forth, and there will be a shift. It looks like you may have to decide to move on or let go of the attachment to allow for the healing, and that may cause a feeling of independence. It doesn't mean you break up. For some people, there may be a shift in that way, or needing to change the dynamic in some way, but it's going to need you to trust yourself and not be afraid of this person's response, because there's something in that as well. All right, Libra, we'll get into the second part. All information is below. Change. It's here. Whoop, whoop. Hi, Libra. I love the way this light looks. I'm trying to use the candle. I'll probably run out on my next reading. it's just nice lighting, and I was like, okay, if I put it in the center, you can really see it. I have another light on as well, but it's also shining brightly here, and I think that's really important. A few things came to me, and hold on one second. All the rainbows. And I think I was just being a little too coy, because every day I wake up with a little bit more empowerment. I'll be drinking water and coffee throughout this. I might even smoke a little. But it's to really, without any of those feelings, shame, guilt, fear, it's time to express yourself without fear. Pluto wants you to step into a light. The season wants you to step into light. You have to be willing to feel so emotionally and mentally secure right now. This is a time for that. Because the truth is that you're meant to waver. We're meant to learn. We're meant to waver. We're meant to see those shadow aspects through. I've been listening to a lot of, I need to listen to certain things that inspire my intelligence, because if I listen to too much like blah stuff, or like research, or like if I'm not writing enough, I feel very stagnant. So wherever you're feeling like if you found that yourself as well, and you find that like you find more of yourself through these aspects, that's what you're meant to do right now. More than ever, last month we talked about this a little bit, but this is really a time where if you're willing to commit to yourself, you can really see through some things and have a lot of unexpected surprises. Now, for some people, for some of you Libras, it looks like a tower moment. Let me make sure the wires are not in the, okay, we're good. Unexpected changes. For some people, you find out something about the way that you've built some relationships on, and you realize that you really don't know how real and true they are until you begin to walk your path. And that's why getting to know yourself, being more stable, being secure in your expression, doing all of this is building the self-esteem in a way that you really need it. And I think I'm going to clip this to the first part of the video, because something happened when I'm learning this, so forgive me, but I'm really learning to see this in the first parts. But there is something significant when we can, and I learned this from someone else too, is when the camera's not on me. Because there is a part of me that does worry, or there's a part of me that does wonder what I look like. Is my hair greasy? It's getting in my face, but I don't want to wear it up. I like the way, you know what I mean? So there's so much, and it's just me being honest. The days that I don't care are the best. The days that I don't give as much energy to that, I feel like this the best. Not that I'm saying that the first part and what we talked about was better, and maybe you'll disagree in the comments, and that's fine. But this is about the hero's journey. This is about you following through with something. And the reason why it can feel so powerful is because you haven't followed through with something like this in your whole life, or in a very long time. You haven't committed this deeply to the light. You've been working a lot with the shadow, and nobody really knows that except for you, but you've chosen it over and over again. And it's now time to claim it back. It's now that time for you to be able to acknowledge that the only way to move forward now is if you are unattached. You give unattached, because and when you can't do that, you learn. Why? You base way too many important things off of that. And you have. And if you haven't noticed that already, it's really time that it's showing up now. It's showing up in the perfect time, in the time for the holidays. For you to see who follows through and who doesn't. For you to see how you respond to all the different characters and personalities in your world. And you'll also see what really makes you happy. really makes you not only just happy, but drives you. Like, happiness isn't the drive for everyone. Peace, a sense of peace is for you, but there is still more to that. You know, you can't have peace until you have some control in your life. Well, where can you put that control if you can't put it externally? Even though this is a very external month. Like, see how brightly the